I have to speaking of my books, I have to say I was thinking about watching it was just an incredible Shakespearean drama taking place in Washington, D.C. And I was thinking about a book I wrote called Empire of Lies, which is one of my favorites of my books, and a book that I felt it did well. It sold okay, but it kind of ignored. It was an openly conservative book, and the book I'd written before, when people didn't know I was a conservative, got something like 300 major reviews. 300 reviews in 300 major venues. This book got one review in a major venue, and I was called a right-wing crackpot, okay? And I thought the problem with it is, I think the book is really good, I think. I think it's a really complex book. It is not just blindly conservative. It's about a conservative, but it talks about his problems. But it's called Empire of Lies because there's an exchange in it where he goes and he talks to a college student, and the college student explains to him why people get destroyed when they stand up against the left-wing machine. And the kid says to him, there are a lot of powerful people who believe things that aren't true. Things like one culture is as good as another, or there's no such thing as good and evil. You only have to think about those statements for 2 minutes to see that they can't possibly be true, but these powerful people think they should be true, and they think they'll seem to be true if no one is allowed to say that they're not true. So they attack anyone who says that they're not true. They call him names, they demand apologies from him, they make his life a misery. So it's like the emperor's new clothes, but instead of clothes, it's the emperor's lies. And in an empire of lies, only a crazy man would speak the truth, and crazy people do crazy things. The powerful people don't destroy the crazy people for saying that their false ideas are false. They destroy them for doing something crazy. But you have to be crazy to say their false ideas are false, because if you do, they'll destroy you. So that is what I couldn't help thinking this about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, the thing that people love about Donald Trump is that he just said the words that we were dying to hear, that we're being told we couldn't say. Islam is associated with terror. How hard is that? It was in front of everybody's eyes, and they were telling us there was virtue in lying about it. Not just that we should lie about it, but that it was virtue. It was good to lie about it. Criminals were coming in from Mexico. We know that all Mexican people aren't criminals, that they're not criminals because they're Mexicans, but we know that people who break the law tend to be criminals, and when they broke into the country, some of these people were criminal people, and if you go into a California prison, a lot of these people are Hispanic, and that's what was happening. And he said the thing that people didn't like. They didn't like their laws being violated. He just came out and said, he called Hillary a crook. That was it. But in order to do that, in order to violate, and remember, again and again and again, the people saying this is the end of Trump's career. Oh my gosh, this is the end. And we kept saying, and people kept saying, no, this is what we like. We like this. I mean, it's the reason why he swept all those more stately statesmen who were running against him away, is because people recognize, and I shouldn't say we, because at that point I didn't, but people recognized that this guy was a bull in a china shop of lies, and all the china was lies, and he was breaking it, and people like that. But it entails a certain kind of wild hair in the guy that I think, sometimes is great and sometimes threatens what he's trying to do. And yet